Hey everybody. So we have two people watching. Uh, I kind of just wanted to test out the stream because I just got a new webcam and tripod, so I wanted to kind of test everything out, see how it worked, and then also I'll just kind of go through some stuff I have, some new stuff which I've gotten. Um, So yeah, that's really about it. Nothing too special, but still gonna be doing a little something. So yeah, two people, so that's not bad. Um, so first off, I'm just gonna kind of go through what's you guys can all see. So this is just some stuff which I have. It's been given to me. This stuff, most of it. You can see the webcam. So this is three of these things are stuff that was given away. So this um is the 1 ounce silver uh from the shipwreck series, and what ship was it? It's the Virgo Drake, which is my favorite of the ones which they've made so far. It was a East Indian Trading Company ship which sank in 1656, which you can read, but you have to read it upside down on the coin, and I think that that's pretty interesting. It's kind of a nice touch that they've added. Four people in here now, so yeah, feel free to chat and yeah. So just wanted to show that one. That's a pretty cool one. I mean it's triangle, and also it's a really thick coin, which is pretty cool. Here is just a Engelhard silver bar, and the Engelhard ones are cool because they don't actually even make them anymore. Engelhard is a company which no longer exists. I believe it dissolved in the late 80s. So that's pretty cool. And it has a serial number, which is also pretty cool. So it's unique. And then just going off of things that are no longer made, here is a uh 1 ounce. It's from the where was it? The Letcher Mint. So that was something out of California, I believe. And this one is from 1973. So pretty cool. Vintage, I guess. Silver round. The eagle on it is pretty cool. It is another 1 ounce thing, but it's just something that I don't have anything else of. So that's interesting. And then going on, I have several silver dollars. This one is probably in the worst condition. It's an 1881, I believe, or 79. Sorry, 79, and it is mint Philadelphia minted, so it does not have a mint mark. Pretty interesting. It does have some chop marks on it. At least that's hopefully what they are. So it has a few scratches, pretty deep scratches. So those could be chop marks, or they could just be newer scratches on it. You don't know what chop marks are? Is so before Morgan dollars, we had trade dollars and seeded dollars, and the trade dollars were used for trade. They were slightly heavier, and they were used mainly for trading in East Asia, I believe, because they didn't really care about our coins. It was more the silver, so it was a more specific amount. I These are like 0.76 ounces, I believe, and it was like 0.75 or like zero point 0.8. I forget. It was one of those two, and they were still 90% silver, I believe. But yeah, so they would check for purity by putting chop marks. And that's kind of still a debate on whether or not that makes the coin more or less valuable. You can see right there, those are the chop marks. And so it really depends on the buyer. Some people will pay more for that. Some people will pay less. It just because it is part of history. So there's an argument on whether or not that is post mint damage or just part of history. I personally think it's pretty cool because it's an interesting part of history, and it's not really something that you see every day. So here, it's a Fiji taku is what it says. This is a hawksbill sea turtle, I believe. That or a green sea turtle. And this is the Fiji $1 or $2, sorry, coin. I like that it's $2. I mean, I know some are more, but like the American and like the American Silver Eagles and even like this Australian one, a coin of 1 ounce of silver, it's right now it's like $26, I think. So that's pretty expensive, and then it has the still just the face value of $1. So more and more we've been seeing those going up with other countries. I know like still $2 isn't a lot, but there's some that are like $5 and $10. I know the British bar one that's in this shape that has the dragon on it. I believe that is like a $5 or $10 coin. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's pretty interesting. Um, but yeah, so this is pretty cool. It's a proof, so that's pretty interesting. And these are really shiny. These are really cool coins. And the actual design is really amazing. Just like it's the ripples of the water and then all the bubbles and then the pattern on the turtle's back, which is just kind of pretty interesting. So awesome coin. This is probably my best silver dollar. It is toned and it is, I don't believe, I'll take it out of the case, but it is really shiny. It's not a proof, but it is certainly a really good condition coin. So it is toned. I don't know if you can see that, but around the rim it is have some darker. You can't really tell on the feed, but it has a little bit of the rainbow toning effect, which I personally like. It's from 1878, so it is the first year of the Morgan dollar. It is a San Francisco, and it is the seven tail feathers, which was changed later because eagles have eight tail feathers, I think. So they changed that because it was not accurate to real life. So they did change that, and that's kind of just a cool part of history. So that was a really nice, probably my nicest silver dollar. I do have a few pretty nice um, silver ones. Probably my nicest piece dollar would be this one, which although its front isn't that spectacular, it's pretty messed up. The back is pretty good. Its back is probably uncirculated, but its front is certainly not. So it is an AU coin. And as you can see there, it is a 1923S. I got it for I think $24. It was a little under the marked price, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, it's a really nice one. Peace dollars are one of my favorite designs. It is my best peace dollar, and I would put it in my 20th century typeset, but I just don't think it's really worth it because only it has such a nice back. I don't really want to. And traditionally, you put the the head side in, so I didn't want to take away from that, so I keep that out. And this one does have a little bit of toning too, but nowhere near what the other one has. So yeah, that's really some of my better stuff. And I have a bunch of different silver dollars. I have, I believe, this one. This is a New Orleans mint, so it has the O. So that one is pretty interesting. It's one of my only New Orleans minted coins. I do have another New Orleans minted. I believe I have it in let me get that out. The only other New Orleans minted coin that I have because New Orleans Mint, I believe, I believe that, hi, Mr. Popzilla, I believe I used to have you in as a moderator, but I don't know what happened. I'll put you as a moderator too, Casey. I trust you not to ban Skylar. I believe that's who that is. But yeah, so I do have one other New Orleans minted coin, and that is in my 20th century typeset. I have a 1895 Barber quarter, which is a New Orleans minted coin. So that's my only other New Orleans minted coin. So pretty interesting. I do have now, finally, I have completed my 20th century typeset because I have a little, I can't really zoom out, but I have all of the coins in the 20th century typeset, except it had it's the Whitman folder, has a spot for your birth year. And although I didn't put it in, since the 2006 half dollar is NIFC, so not intended for circulation, and that didn't they didn't when I went to the coin shop, they didn't have any 2006 NIFCs. So what was pretty interesting is for Christmas I actually received a mint set for 2006, or a proof set, I think, actually a 2006 proof set, which had the one coin I was missing was the birth year, and there it is, the 2006 half dollar. And I wasn't going to take it out and crack open the proof set, but it is pretty nice to know that I do have that, and it is filled out. So that's pretty cool. Is that I have I do have the entire 20th century typeset, and the Whitman 20th century typeset is the most like complete one. Even the Dansko album one, it still isn't of the same like quality. It doesn't have all of the spots. The 20th century typeset for the Whitman, it has not just all of the stuff. It has like a 40%, so it has a spot for the 40% silver half, the 90% silver half for Kennedy, and then the clad silver half for Kennedy, as well as the bicentennial editions. And the same goes for the nickels and the cents for the different types of metals. There is a spot for the 1943 steel. There's a spot for the Jefferson War silver, 35% silver. And the 35% silver I have in for the actual, let me show everybody. I got for 35 cents at the coin store because its back is completely missing. It's been pretty scraped up, but it is a 1943, so it is 100% silver, but we don't know what the mint is. And although it's really only worth like 75 cents, I did get it for half what its silver value was. It doesn't really have any numismatic value, but I do have that in for the typeset because in the Whitman folder, you can't see that it doesn't actually have any back whatsoever. The one that probably took me the longest to find was a good Barber half dollar. And I have a 1902 half dollar in there right now. And I believe I have two, probably can't see it, but I do have a 1902 Barber half, which those are also tougher to find. I know, like, I've never found one Cornwall hunting. I've found every other silver one I have for the silver halves except the seeded besides that one. I found Walking Liberties, Benjamins, 90% silver, 40% silver, and then all the other ones I found NIFCs, I found everything, but I've never found a Barber. So that, and then for the 40% silver half dollars, I've not found the 1970. And the 1970 is tougher to find only because it it was only available in mint sets. Like you can't even you can buy a 2006 NAFC separately if you want, but it only was issued in mint and proof sets. So just makes it additionally hard to find. And if you want to get a good one, it's like $15. Underscore asked if I had any Texas quarters. I do. I have several of them. I don't know exactly where they are, but here's one. And I do have the whole set. This one, Casey. I'll give you, Casey, that one because I don't really need any new ones. I have all the 50 states completed. And in the folder I have them in, they are actually starting to get a pretty cool gold color. The Texas one isn't, but if you look, the Montana specifically is starting to tone really nicely, and that's just because it's been sitting in this book. Let me see if I can get it under. But the Montana does have some pretty nice toning on it currently. So it's golden, and it does have a little bit of rainbow starting. So I'm going to keep these in that folder only because they are toning really nicely. There are a few that I would change out just because I found several BU ones. Specifically, just recently, I got some West Virginias, which were really nice. They're not proofs, I don't believe. They're Denver minted, and they are in just incredible condition. They might actually be proof, but I found 3. So, actually, 1 was Indiana. So, 2, I found 2 West Virginias, and then there was 1 Indiana, which were in really nice condition, but they're not proof because they're Denver. I don't believe that there was a Denver proof set issued. And the state quarters, I think they're the most popular set. They're probably one of the biggest numismatic initiatives that the United States Mint has actually ever accomplished, with well over, I think, 100 million people have collected all of the 50 states. So that's pretty interesting. And then another set that I'm trying to complete at least, is the Centennial Canadians. I have the Bicentennial for America complete in I have the silver stuff for them, a few of them, but I have just the normal Bicentennial completed with the Eisenhower, the half dollar, and the quarter. And that's a pretty easy one to get. But for the Centennial for Canada, you do have to, it is tougher only because you do have like this, which is silver. Sky Blue asks, what is your rarest coin? That's a tough one. So, in terms of rarity, I mean that Morgan dollar is pretty rare. I have some pretty rare tokens. This one is from the 1860s, and it is from a lock company. It has a padlock on it. Not necessarily worth a ton, but it is one of my lowest minted. It's not necessarily my most expensive. Casey Page Isidori asks, what is your oldest? My oldest by far is this ancient Roman coin, which I purchased. It has 2 men standing with shields and spears, and then on the other side you have Constantinus, who was the first Christian emperor of Rome. As for found in circulation, my very oldest find is an 1889 V nickel, which is worth basically nothing. It's, if you can tell, very, very worn down. You can barely see the full date. Most of the V is missing. It doesn't even have all the stars. It's missing about half of those. No detail whatsoever. None of the letters in Liberty are still visible. And in fact, none of her hair is even really visible. It's all completely flat and completely worn down. Back to what is your rarest coin. To two which are probably up there with my rarest are this, which is a 3-cent piece, a silver 3-cent piece, which is in pretty good condition. This is probably a $65 coin. So one of my more expensive ones, and it is in pretty good condition. This one, which has an incredibly low mintage, is Silver Bracteate, which they made at the 2019 ANA Summer Seminar. And if you collect coins, I highly recommend joining the ANA, the American Numismatic Association. They do a ton of really cool stuff, especially if you're my age or a kid like me. They have some really cool programs. And this one was made during the 2019 Summer Seminar. They have a drill press, which it spins around and then it comes down and it presses into this. So this is based on the German ones that they made during the Middle Ages in the 12th to 14th century. Which, if you can, like, this will be flipped, but if you can read that. But basically, it was struck by Germany, and this is a similar design to some they have. It says American Numismatic Association Summer Seminar 2019 on it, but that soldier with the sword is what you would see. So it's a thin silver coin. There's the back. So it is pretty high relief, which is interesting. And my favorite coin. That's a tough one. There's a lot of coins that kind of have a special place for me, but one of my favorite ones is probably this one, just because it was given to me by my grandfather, and his grandfather had that. And then this one is another one which is really important to me, just because when my dad was born, his grandfather gave that to him, and it was then given to me. So that's pretty cool. So that's another one which just has a lot of sentimental value. Not necessarily incredibly valuable coin, but as for my most valuable coin, uh, that's a tough one. I'm not really sure. I have a few coins that are worth a good bit. For my rarest bills, I have some pretty rare $20 bills, specifically this one from 1929. It was from the Reserve Bank of Chicago, so that's a pretty rare one. Just for the year, it's probably worth $50 or $60. So that's probably my most expensive bill. So for my most expensive coin, however, I'm not really sure. I mean, I have a few coins that are worth a good bit, but maybe that 3-cent piece, or this is one which is worth a good bit. This is a Canadian 5-cent piece from 1890. And they're really tiny. They're much more than a dime. Here's an American dime for comparison. They are still smaller than that. Sorry, I don't know why that's not in focus, but that is a pretty valuable coin. That one is fairly rare as well. I don't know exactly how much it's worth, but I know in higher grades they're worth a ton. The old Canadian 5-cent pieces, just because when a coin is in that size, it's pretty tough to find good examples because they wear down so quickly. Maybe another one, just going back to my favorite coin, this is my first like real coin. This one I've had since I was like 8. It's a 1944 war nickel. When I got it, I didn't realize that, but it was just an old coin that I found in circulation, so I kept it. But it is a silver war nickel. So this is pretty important to me. Those are probably the 3 most important coins to me. What's the piece that you want the most that you don't have yet? I would love, just something I want for my collection is a $2.50 Incuse Indian, which, the Incuse design is pretty interesting because I don't know if any of you guys know what that looks like, but, it has a Native American chief on the front, and on the back it has an, eagle. And the thing that's really cool about it is the fact that it is an incuse design. So on most coins, specifically, like this is a good example. The actual coin, like it has details sticking out of the coin. Like if you held this down, it is not completely flat. It has raised details, and it has a relief, and this is a high relief coin. For an incuse design, it has the details are actually carved in. So if you had the coin on its side, even like without the rim, it would be completely flat because the design is actually carved into the coin rather than sticking out. So that's one which is just a really cool coin, but it is pretty expensive. I mean, they came in $2.50 and $5 denominations. They're made from 1903, I believe, to 1933, which is when Franklin Delano Roosevelt issued the gold thing, which basically meant that we could not make gold coins anymore, and they confiscated gold, basically. But my favorite state quarter. Hmm. Hmm. I like the Connecticut the Charter Oak design. I think that that's like just a cool one because like the history behind it. Uh but for my actual favorite design, my favorite design would probably have to go I would have to go with either the North Dakota design or the hmm the Nevada design is certainly up there as well. Uh, if you guys don't know what those designs are, the North Dakota design is two bison. I don't know if I can get the album under the webcam, but it is two bison. And then for Nevada, it is three wild horses, and that's probably my favorite. Those are probably my favorite state quarters. The Texas quarter, I don't know. I think the Texas quarter is probably one of the worst state quarter designs. It doesn't really have anything special to the state of Texas. And there's plenty of things which they could have put too, like the Alamo, but instead, because it's the Lone Star State, they just have a star. The actual state of Texas's designs, and then they have just rope around the sides. So I think it's pretty ugly compared to a lot of the other state quarters. But if that's what you like, then I guess that's cool too. Is there anything else anybody wants to see? Because if not, this coming up on my oldest penny. Hmm. My oldest American cent would be from 1829. I have a matron head cent from 1829, and this is the large cent, so it is much bigger than a new American penny. If you can't tell, it's a lot larger, so pretty interesting. The large cents. That's my oldest for a real American cent, which is probably what you were talking about. But for other than that, from 1799, here's a British penny. And King George III was a really ugly looking guy. That is the bust which they have of him. So this is from 1799. It's a pretty old coin. And then I believe I have one from 1798. Not 100% sure. But 1797. This one is in really bad condition. It's from probably the 1780s, I think, actually. It's bigger than the other one. Like this, the coin I just showed you guys. This is a comparatively, and I'm not sure if this is even a penny. This might be another denomination, but this is, I believe, the same guy. And it is older, but I'm not sure the exact date or how much older it is. But yeah, those are some of my oldest pennies. I have some pretty cool bank tokens that are pretty old as well. 1 cent bank tokens. Let me show you guys some of those bank tokens. Some of the newest things in my collection. I just made a video on, but this, which was only given to me on Christmas, the 2006 proof set, which I showed you guys, and then I have some new bills in the collection, specifically being this high serial number 9598769 2. And that is a pretty high because they only go up to 96 million. That is 95 million. 900,000 or 980,000. So there's only about, I think it's 12,300 notes which were made above that one. So it's a pretty high serial number. A least favorite coin? I don't really have a least favorite coin. Most of the coins I have, I like because that's why I have them in my collection. But ones which like I might get rid of in the future, they don't really love per se. That's a tough one. I don't think I really have a least favorite coin. My least favorite design wise, I showed you guys the Texas quarter. That's just I don't like that coin. That's probably my least favorite design wise. But as for least favorite, I don't really have anything in my collection that I don't like. Some other new things I have that I do like here's a 1942 Australian florin, which I got from Michael Kittle Rare Coins. And if you guys if you aren't subscribed to him, I would go and check him out. But this one, it has an emu and a kangaroo on it, and I think that's pretty cool. And these were actually, what's cool about these, it's a King George VI, but they were minted in San Francisco. So although they have the king on it and it says Australia, these were minted in San Francisco. And like there were a lot of countries that used to do that. Panama is one that I'm sure most of you guys have heard of. The Balboas, those are a pretty popular one. I believe this one might have been made in in San Francisco. It's an old I believe the emperor would be King George VI, his coronation crown, and it's a 10-cent coin. It's copper nickel, and it is Malaya, not Malaysia, because this is before the that. My most tropical coin. I don't think I read that right. No, I might have. For from the Caribbean, I have a few coins from the Caribbean. Here's one right here. So this one is a aluminum, and it is from the East Caribbean states from 1995. It's pretty interesting. Just the shape of it, at least, is pretty cool. So, I also have one from Malta. This is a 50-cent piece from Malta. This one's pretty tropical. If you look on the back, it actually has dolphins and then 3 people standing there. So, that one's pretty tropical, in my opinion, at least. I mean, the Malaya coin, that's pretty, or Malaya, I'm not really sure how to say it. That is pretty tropical. Yeah, it's pretty tropical. My least legible coin. For my least legible coin, I do have several coins which are pretty worn down. For least legible, Um, Probably gonna have to go with this one. It's an 1861 uh Queen Victoria. None of any of the letters on the front are visible, and the only part of it which is actively um able to be read is a 61. And you can kind of make out an 8 and a 1, but the 61, which is luckily the only two numbers that you would need to determine its date. Because there was not any other 61 that Queen Victoria was alive for. So it has to be in 1861. Back on, like, for my favorite design for coins, I think the design for the British sovereigns are my most detailed. For the most detailed, I mean, the British sovereign. That's pretty. I like. That's a pretty detailed design with the man slaying a dragon on his horse, and then this one, which is a token, the Bank of Montreal. It has the actual bank, and then on the back it has a coat of arms for Canada, which is no longer used. I think it's pretty cool at least, but I guess they didn't like it, so they did end up changing it. But that's a pretty detailed coin. Um, there are a few other fairly detailed coins I have. This 1957 25 pesetas from Spain. That's pretty detailed. This is also one of the most toned coins I have. Uh, in person, it's really rainbow, but it is pretty tough to get the toning on camera sometimes. Back to coins minted in the US for other countries, although technically the Philippines at this point was a territory of the United States. There is Lady Liberty with a hammer and an anvil. And then on the back, it has some pretty nice toning and an eagle with a coat of arms below it. Not quite sure what that coat of arms is for, but so that's a pretty cool one. Most detailed for currency wise, my most simple. Most simple. There's a few designs that were pretty simple that I would say at least that were pretty simple. The V-nickel design, that's pretty simple. I showed you guys a V-nickel earlier. I don't really know from most simple. I kind of like coins that are pretty uh detailed. The 1930s, the large cent or the King Edward small cents, or no, King George. Sorry, King George the Fifth small cents. Those aren't very detailed. The backs, at least, pretty straightforwards. I mean, his bust is pretty detailed though, with that crown. For more detailed, at least, I have plenty of detailed ones. Actually, let me see. This one is pretty undetailed. This is alright, that's the wrong one. That one is pretty detailed. Here's a two cruiser from 1848, and it does have some original luster on it. This is a German Empire coin. It does have corrosion on it too. Sadly, it was not stored in the best of places, and moisture did affect it, and unfortunately, the coin paid the price for that. My oddest shaped coin. There's a few coins I have that are pretty strangely shaped. Um, hmm. I mean, just this New York City subway token is pretty oddly shaped, with the hole in the center. I do have, which, although I don't like this company, American Coin Treasures, it did put together a group of coins which are oddly shaped. Some of them, like the Canada, that they just put in there because they needed to fill space. That's not even oddly shaped. But India, Israel, those have some pretty oddly shaped ones. Um, of course, you have the one with a hole in it, and that is also East Caribbean. There you see that East Caribbean one, and yeah, so there's a bunch of East Caribbean states ones which were pretty oddly shaped. Of course, in India too had some oddly shaped ones. There's a Pakistani coin that's kind of oddly shaped. It's square, so those are some oddly shaped ones. Back to most detailed. I do have a few super detailed coins. The Second Reich in Germany. So that is, they have a pretty awesome coat of arms. It looks kind of similar to the Albanian eagle, but this one's much cooler. So it's an eagle, and it's wearing a crown. Ton of detail. And the thing about those is you can find Second Reich coins for pretty cheap. So this one's pretty fancy, I would say. So those are some that I at least think are pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's really it. Those are probably most of the coins I have. Yeah. So we've been live for just about 45 minutes. 41 and a half minutes. So, yeah, that was pretty fun. I wanted to go through, just kind of show everybody all the coins I had. And, yeah. So, as always, like, subscribe, and have a great day.